For the past week and a half, I've been using the little time I have left from Lost Ark to try out Aeon Classic on the EU servers, and in today's video I'd like to share my experience so far with you. If this video comes as a surprise to some of you who only know me for Lost Ark, that's perfectly fine. I've been covering Lost Ark since day one, release in Korea 2018, but I've been playing and covering Aeon before Lost Ark for longer than I have been with Lost Ark. So this was a must-do for me. Now, the name Aeon Classic is a little bit misleading. It's just like one of those YouTube videos that the title is over-the-top clickbaity, however the content inside the video is actually pretty good. So you cannot be upset at the YouTuber for doing that, they just wanted your view. The same thing is with Aeon Classic, where the real classic experience is the one I and very many other people have experienced when the game was actually released in 2009 September. I joined 2 months later in December of 2009, and that was the actual Aeon Classic. And it was almost completely different compared to this version, which is very up to date in terms of some things, but sort of the vibe of the game and the fact that we're still playing in those classic, like real classic maps, brings back a lot of nostalgia and a lot of really good memories. A super cool part that I just want to get out of the way at the beginning of the video is the people that you see around. If you've been playing Aeon on the EU servers at that time, or maybe you started with 3.0 free to play, you are going to recognize so many people that are buzzing around, and there's so many guilds that have existed on all of the older servers like Perento, Anuhar, Telemachus, etc., and they're all now combined onto one. There's two servers, but the bigger server has basically the majority of everyone that you used to know and wanted to try Aeon Classic again. The leveling up is much faster in this Aeon Classic than it was back then in 2009, 2010. The gold, the Kina income is much better here than it was back then, and because of that the prices, people also know now a lot more about the game than they used to know back then. So everyone's, you know, having their own plan as to what they do, what they skip, should they get straight to 50, should they wait and twink, and it's sort of like a really good and healthy mix so far. Remember, it's only been a week and a half. We're going to talk more about the future of the game a little bit later. Speaking of the future, something that I want to mention as a gigantic difference in between the previous version of Aeon that you might have played and this one is the fact that in the future of this Aeon Classic, we're not going to have the same class releases as we've had for the regular Aeon. We're not going to have the same, or maybe we're not going to have the same maps. They have different plans for Aeon Classic past 3.0. Overall, my experience with Classic so far in the 20-25 hours that I have been able to play it has been really cool. I got to level 42, I'm on my way to 50, and I just got a lot of nostalgia feelings along the way, and they were really good feelings. However, having played other more modern games during the past few years, I can say that there is so many outdated systems and so many things that just simply don't make absolutely no sense. But they are part of Aeon's history, and since they wanted to replicate as much as possible what we've been through at the beginning, then they just kept them. At the end of the video, I'd like to talk about real money and pay to win in Aeon Classic. Whenever there's a cash shop and you can purchase items from it with real money and then sell those items in game to get the in-game currency, gold, Kina, whatever you call it, and then with that currency get your gear better and be better than another player, that can be called pay to gain power. There is that in Aeon Classic, and I don't think that in the future of the game it's ever going to get rid of it. Most likely there's going to be a little bit more of it as the release progresses. There is also a premium or a paid membership, I suppose in this case, because you literally cannot be without it. You get 1 hour a day with full benefits, and then after that you drop down to you know, a peasant rank where you cannot gain any loot, you get half the experience. It's basically unplayable, right? It's completely unplayable. Reminds me of when you're in jail and you're in segregation, you get 1 hour a day of sunlight and courtyard time. After that, you're back within four walls, right? You cannot do anything at this moment in time in Aeon Classic with 1 hour. So because of that, you have to pay $9.99 if you want to enjoy the Aeon Classic experience. This is not necessarily the worst thing if it would be the only thing, but we just talked about the microtransactions and sort of the exchange to in-game Kina that allows you to buy items that make you more powerful. So, you know, that's just basically on top. Another thing that's also there for people who want to buy it is is a sort of like a battle pass, right? And it's really not even, I mean, it is seasonal, but it's every month a different battle pass. Now, Korea right now, the Korean version of Aeon Classic has, I think, 4, 5 different battle passes at the same time. So because of that, it's a little bit weird, and obviously because of that, the future in terms of battle passes for the EU Aeon Classic is again with a gigantic question mark on top of it. This battle pass costs, I believe, the equivalent of 20 euros, and it does give you some pretty attractive items that you can do without. For example, I haven't purchased this battle pass, nor am I planning to purchase it. If this one doesn't work and it's not very popular with people, they're most likely gonna spice it up to a point where, you know, you really want that because that's like so cool, whatever is in the some future battle pass. Lastly, I do want to share a couple of thoughts on how I would want Aeon Classic to look like for the next couple of months here in the West. If someone would ask me, hey, you as a player, right, you're really enjoying your time right now in the game, what do you want? I would answer, I want more of now. I want more of today, more of these people, more of this feeling. So let me have this for longer, right? Whoever gets bored is really not supposed to be here, simply because there is so much to do and there could potentially be so many really important things to farm, such as extendables, all of your stigmas, abyss points, before we move further and, you know, replace our gear. There is, like the Dark Poeta said, maybe, you know, what the Habata weapon. There's a lot of cool little things, and at least 6 months, you know, if not like maybe 8 months. Maybe it's too much to ask, but this is the biggest thing that I would want sort of as a player. Would I recommend this game? Absolutely, if you've been playing it before. If you wanted to play Aeon, or if you played Aeon in 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, do come back and get to meet right, the people on the faction that you used to play, and get to see the booming classic zones and the PvP in them, and the endgame dungeons that we had, and the harder sort of gearing up process, and the farm, and, you know, the dredgens, the sieges. It's just like, you know, thousands of players. So it's a really cool nostalgia feeling. 100% worth paying $10 at least for 1 month of this premium membership. So you can just be here for 1 month, at least look at LFG, and then you know, mind your way if you don't like it. And for those of you who are into cool, modern, action-packed games, there's really nothing for you to do in Aeon Classic, simply because the graphics are older, the combat is really good combat, but just an older sort of top targeting combat. There's like the Holy Trinity. There's pluses and minuses on both sides, right, depending on which game you're comparing it with. These were my thoughts, and until my next video, take care and stay safe.